I moved into Cedar Hills on a rainy Wednesday afternoon, the kind of suburb that looked like it had been designed with a cookie cutter. Vinyl siding, matching mailboxes, HOA newsletters folded neatly into your door, whether you asked for them or not. I'd saved for years, worked double shifts, and finally closed on my first house, a small but charming two-bedroom at the end of a cul-de-sac. The neighborhood felt peaceful, quiet, and frankly, too quiet. I noticed people peeking from behind blinds as the movers and I unloaded boxes. One woman in particular stood out. Perfect blonde curls, clipboard in hand, and a stare that burned holes through my skin. I gave her a polite wave. She didn't wave back. Later that evening, as I was dragging the last box through my front door, I heard heels clacking up my driveway. That same woman, clipboard in one hand, phone in the other. "Excuse me," she said sharply. "Can I help you?" I was still catching my breath. "No, ma'am. I live here." Her eyes narrowed. "You live here?" She looked me up and down like she was scanning a barcode. "This house," I nodded. "Just closed on it. Monday." She blinked, then forced a laugh. "Oh, well, I'm Cheryl Dunning, president of the Cedar Hills Homeowners Association." She handed me a paper. "We prefer to meet with all new homeowners to go over our expectations. I didn't receive your compliance form." I glanced at the paper. It was a homemade-looking document titled New Resident Entry and Behavior Contract. I blinked. "Is this official HOA paperwork?" She smiled too tightly. "This is how we do things here. You'll need to attend a welcome interview this Friday. And until then, please don't use the driveway. It's part of the shared aesthetic buffer zone." I chuckled at first, thinking she was joking. "I'm sorry, but I'm not attending any interview. And I own this driveway." Her smile faded. "I'll make a note of your non-compliance," she said, scribbling something on her clipboard. "We'll be watching closely." The next morning, I woke up to a violation notice duct taped to my front door. Unauthorized overnight parking. I laughed. My car was in my own garage. A second notice appeared the next day, this time for improper curtain color. I hadn't even unpacked curtains yet. I started documenting everything. Time, date, photo. I knew something was off. The neighborhood HOA documents from my closing paperwork didn't mention Cheryl Dunning's name anywhere. By the third day, I got a knock at the door. This time, it wasn't Cheryl, but two police officers. "Sir, we received a report of suspicious activity, possible vehicle theft." My stomach dropped. "You mean my own vehicle?" I asked. "It's my car. I have the keys." One officer asked to see my ID. The other gestured toward my garage. Cheryl stood across the street, arms folded, lips pursed. I showed my license, car title, even my closing documents. The younger officer apologized. "This won't take long. We're just doing due diligence." But the older one kept pressing. "You just moved in, right?" I nodded. "You have any proof you belong here?" That was the moment I realized I wasn't just being harassed. I was being targeted. As they ran my ID, I asked them to check the HOA registry. I explained my suspicions. Cheryl's name wasn't listed in any official HOA communication, and the documents she gave me weren't sanctioned. The younger officer paused, clearly uneasy. The older one told me to let the HOA handle its business. After a tense few minutes, they let me go. But something told me this wasn't over. The following day, I got home to find my locks had been changed. A note stuck to the door read, "Due to repeated violations, this property is being held under HOA review." I snapped. "I called the number listed." Cheryl answered, smug as ever. "You were given ample warning," she said. Refusal to comply with our guidelines leaves us no choice. I told her this was illegal, that I was calling the police and an attorney. She laughed. "Do what you have to." We've done this before. That night, I stayed in a motel and filed a police report. I also dug deeper, way deeper. I contacted the actual management company for Cedar Hills. Not only had they never heard of Cheryl Dunning, but there was no HOA board currently active. It had been dissolved 2 years earlier and transferred to the management company itself. What Cheryl was running was a fake HOA, a scam wrapped in authority. I returned to my house the next morning with a locksmith, 2 police officers, and the property manager from the actual company. Cheryl came marching out the front door with a man I'd never seen before. "You're trespassing," she screamed. "This is private HOA business." The property manager calmly presented her badge and documentation. "Ma'am, we're with Evergreen Residential Services. You have no legal authority over this home or any other in this neighborhood." Cheryl's face drained of color. The cops turned to her. "You changed the locks without legal cause. That's breaking and entering." She stammered, "I'm just enforcing community standards." The younger officer from earlier stepped forward. "You filed a false police report and impersonated an HOA official." The man beside her tried to walk off, but was immediately detained. Turned out, he was a suspended contractor who'd helped her enforce fake citations and access people's homes. The police cuffed Cheryl right there on my lawn. As she was led into the cruiser, she locked eyes with me. "This isn't over," she spat. I stared back, calm and steady. "Yeah," I said, "it is." That moment, watching her drive away in the back of a patrol car, was the first time I truly felt at home on that street. Later that week, I was contacted by 3 neighbors. Turns out I wasn't the first target, just the first one who fought back. Together, we gave statements. A local paper ran the story, "Fake HOA president arrested for harassment and fraud." My name wasn't in the headline, but my fingerprints were all over that outcome. I finally unpacked my curtains. Navy blue, just to piss her off.